Just finished a little bit of zero water with a brand new filter, so I'm tasting the difference again. I didn't realize just how much my last filter in that pitcher gave out. So I took the water tester, and it's supposed to be 0, and you're supposed to replace when the thing gets to 6. The water before it goes through the filter here is like 120, and that filter was only bringing it down to 60. So yeah, so I got a new one. It's back to 0 where it belongs, and I'm tasting the difference again. So yay for dissolved solids in the water around here, whatever they happen to be. Anyways. So yeah, I'm finished up that series, and I'm going to be on an uploading spree for who knows how long now. I mean, how many videos do I have to upload, and how long are they going to take? So maybe I'll upload them on the weekend too. So realize there's not a lot of people watching YouTube on the weekends, but I mean, this is just going through my video game collection and where we're starting from with some of this like game hunting and stuff that I'm doing. And it's not just going to be game hunting either. I'm also curious about secondhand stores in general, and especially restoring stuff. You'd be surprised how much people get rid of stuff that looks like garbage, that they dump it off cheap, and then if you fix it up, it's actually close to as good as if it were new. So, or you can mod it, you can improve it, you can restore it, something like that. So I'm curious what I can do with with hardly any budget or anything like that these days. But I already kind of started doing some of that with Ratty, which actually looks like a somewhat respectable Nintendo game now. It's even got a little bit of shine to the cartridge now that I've cleaned it up and polished it up a little. Unfortunately, there's not much I can do about the damaged label. Did someone like heat gun it or something? I don't know how you do this to a label, but I don't know what people do to these video games anyways. Saw some real doozies in the secondhand shop this afternoon. I was in the area, since I'm working at some of the buildings that we have that are actually close to this place. So I stopped by on the way home from work and did a little bit of shopping and a little bit of scouting as well, to keep an eye on the prices to see if the lady running this place is interested in gouging people. Supposedly, the website of this place says that they don't want to sell things at too high a price, but I'm keeping an eye out, especially with the eBay price range and stuff like that, and people's tendencies to use it as a price guide. So because the fairest price for a video game is about eBay minus 20%, what I've decided to do is, for the eBay range, I've decided to buy if it's from the low end to the middle. But if it's from above that to the high end, forget it, because that's somebody who's clueless about the whole eBay thing. And first and foremost, when people start talking about eBay prices like there's some kind of religious text for secondhand video games, remember that eBay is always a range. For NES games, we're talking $5 to $10, depending on the condition. Towards the lower end, if the condition isn't as good. And by not good condition, I mean like new. People that are collecting and whatnot, they're going to want a game. The holy grail of game collections for a collector is a collection that looks like they've had it since childhood, that they haven't had since childhood. So, or in terms of if they took care of their games like I did, collections where what they had as a kid. Yeah, what they get looks as good as what they had as a kid. But some of the stuff, like what happened to Ratty here, I really don't know. I really don't know what people do to their games that make them look so horrible. And some of the doozies I've gotten from GameStop over the years. Although I am a little curious, I wonder if there is some way to maybe print new labels for these games. Buy a game with a destroyed label, and then get like a color printer and print on, or a color printer or even color laser or something, print on some clear-coated stuff, or print and then clear coat over the top, and actually make replacement labels for cartridges. It would make for an interesting hobby, and it would help drive down the cost of some cartridges I get too. I can get some ratty piece of junk that they're dumping off where the label's destroyed, clean the cartridge, shine it up, scrape off what's left, put a new one on, stuff like that. And it's not like I'm actually going to turn around and sell these things afterwards. It's just to make them look good in my own collection. But just some ideas I'm tossing around. I mean, I have tried to print out replacement box art for games where I got them from GameStop with those stupid generic inserts they have of like some drawing of some guy holding a controller, and they print the name on top or something like that. But yeah. And that's of course why I've got one game. That's why I've got Red Dead Revolver with a printout of PAL cover art, even though it's NTSC. Anyways, so I picked up 2 games, and I've already looked up the prices on eBay. And why don't we just stick to the points here? When people use eBay prices as a religious text, so to speak, or an infallible text of some sort as to how much a game's worth, one thing worth noting is that there's usually a range, and it's dependent upon the condition of the game. And that's something that you don't hear enough of when you see people talking about used game sales. Condition. Whatever happened to condition? Now, I've messed around with baseball cards, but I know I'm not going to make a ton of money like people of yesteryear would have, because unfortunately, in my day, baseball cards are all laminated now, so they're going to last longer just by the virtue of how they're printed. But I've got quite a few cards that I could probably sell or get rid of in some way, shape, or form, get some money for them, and put them towards something else. I also have a complete set of, I think, Donruss or something from the early 90s. I think it might be Donruss. I've gotten a complete set around here somewhere that I could probably, I got for like 20 bucks 20 years ago, that maybe it's increased in value since then. I don't know, but it's not like I'm a big baseball card person anymore. It's kind of one of those things that my dad did it, so I did it, but I didn't really get into it as much as he did. So, but one of the things I remember is one time I got a price guide for selling used baseball cards, and I remember seeing, you know, the condition indicators, like if a corner's dinged, the value drops by this much or something like that. And that's the problem with video games, is that you don't see this as much, although there is some of it going on eBay. So when you look at like $5 to $10 NES titles, you'll see like the $10 ones are in mint condition, or maybe complete in box or something like that. And then the ones out at the bottom are like scrappy, someone dragged it across their driveway or something like that. The label's half gone or something along those lines, or it's yellowed or something like that. So it's a range. So you can't hear people, this is worth this much on eBay. No, if it's in mint condition, if it's in mint condition complete in box, it's worth that much on eBay. But the problem is there's ranges for everything. And so that's what I'm doing with the secondhand store that I've been frequenting, is I'm keeping an eye out on the ranges of the prices. And I'm getting an idea for eBay ranges, and depending on whether it's if it's bottom to middle, I might pick up a game. If it's above that towards the top, forget it. And especially the stuff they keep in the glass case. That's just, anyways. So I picked up two games that I've been watching just sit on their shelf for quite some time, although one of them is a little newer than the other. So these are, the cartridge stuff in this shop doesn't move very much. The collectors nab up the good-looking ones, then people like me want average-looking ones to actually play. Well, anyways, I've already looked these up. They're in the range I want them to be as far as eBay prices go. So bottom to middle. Shouldn't do these videos after supper. Anyways, so bottom to middle, these two are basically they're both Nintendo 64. And they're games that I didn't have as a kid, obviously, but both of them actually. So they're games that I didn't have as a kid, and they really speak to the whole issue with condition. Now, cartridge stuff in there doesn't move very fast. I get some weird looks sometimes, depending on who's running the shop. What are you doing still buying cartridge games? And stuff like that. Hey, you know, some games I didn't get to play as a kid, or games that I only rented that I want to add to my collection and play from time to time. I mean, yeah, so, I mean, alright, so let's just get to what I got here. They're both towards the bottom or middle of the eBay price range. So, first we have Cruisin' Exotica, which is the last Cruisin' game that I know of for the N64. Cruisin' World I've got en route from JJ's. This sucker was 10, and the range is like 10 to 15. I'm surprised. There are people out there that are still selling this game on eBay for like $15. So, I don't know. I know that Nintendo 64 games have a bit of a problem. I know that Nintendo 6... I got a goog on it now. Messed up getting the price tag off. I know that Nintendo 64 games have a bit of a problem with checkerboard anti-aliasing around the edges of everything on today's TVs. Mine does that, and I'm sure everyone else's does that too. You're not going to see it in video reviews of N64 games on YouTube, because no doubt the YouTuber is either using an emulator, or it's just the fact that you're watching it in a small window so you don't see the artifacts caused by the anti-aliasing, but the N64 has a bit of a problem with that. On PlayStation 1, it's more like jaggies and stuff. Almost makes you want to sit way in the back, far away from your TV to play those old games. But, alright, so Cruisin' Exotica. Cruisin' Exotica, it's the, I only had Cruisin' USA growing up, rented Cruisin' World, never played Exotica, because I believe this game came out after 2000-ish or so, and that's really when I just stopped playing altogether. Was real busy in college, didn't have my stuff on campus, and okay, and then you have this. Excite Bike 64, the next Ratty Racer, the next game that I want to fix up. I don't know what nickname I'm going to use for it, but this one was 6. which is a little steep considering the condition. Let's get this price tag off here, or at least the one that they put on. You can see the residue, if you look very closely, you can see the dark residue on that bike. That's from a previous price tag that someone tried to peel off that was on top of the label, because jackasses like to put price tags on labels and well, at least it wasn't GameStop. It's not a GameStop sticker, it's a generic price tag. So, but on the back, you get this nice little feast for the eyes. You got packing tape and chaos written over the back of it. So if I try to do anything about this, I'm pretty much guaranteed to just rip the label completely off. So what I'm probably going to end up doing to clean this thing up, take all this off, destroy the back label, and probably just scrape off all that's left of it. Just have a smooth gray back instead of a torn one. So that at least will look cleaner and stuff like that. And maybe if I can get a decent color printer, print a new one and stick it on. Cut it with an X-Acto knife, have it as a nice little restoration project. But yeah, what happened? Again, what do people do to their games that they end up like this? Did it get dragged across the driveway or something? Did some kid get mad and like throw it across a hardwood floor? How does this happen? Look at all those scratches and everything. Fortunately, this is towards the bottom of the eBay range for this game. Real close to the bottom, actually, when I checked. 6 is kind of down there. Actually, 5 to 10 is what I traditionally associate with NES games, not Nintendo 64. But I think this Excite Bike thing will be my next game that I fix up kind of in the same tradition as what I did with Ratty Racer here. I've got the screwdrivers for it, I've got the cleaners for it, and if I can get a good color printer, I might even try printing new labels and stuff for these games. I'm sure there's probably images I can download somewhere and to print out new this, but this whole chaos thing, I don't know what that's about, but it's eventually going to come off. Actually, before we end this vlog, let's do one more thing in terms of condition. Busting out the alcohol, 91%. And it's Q-tip time. And I'm dropping them all over the floor here. Let's see how dirty these things are. Now, I will be very shocked if these are dirty at all, because I've traditionally known Nintendo 64 games to be very good at not getting dirty. I don't know if Nintendo put something on the contacts when they made these things, but Super Nintendo games, I've seen them get extremely dirty. But I've never, ever seen an N64 game get dirty to the extent, oh, not a good sign. So, this is what I have to have. Look at this! It's like tar on a Nintendo 64 game, for Pete's sake. Wow! Okay, maybe I should take this whole thing apart and clean this sucker up. Wow, one Q-tip gone already. And this is really my question for the lady that runs this store. This store is not a corporation. It's not a GameStop. It's not anything. It's a little proprietorship, mom and pop type dude. Look at this. Look, that's got to be tobacco residue. Now I'm getting brown stuff from inside the cartridge. Oh, what happened to this thing? Look at this garbage. There's black and brown stuff coming off too. I don't know if that's hardcore tobacco residue or something like that. Where has this thing been? Okay, this sucker needs to be deep cleaned. See if I can make the trash from here. Oh, missed. That's why I don't play basketball. All right. I'm abusing my alcohol. Not a good idea here. Okay, Cruisin' Exotica in significantly better condition exterior-wise. Did the previous owner take care of it, and did the lady that runs this place do anything whatsoever? No, she didn't. And this is the kind of thing I remember watching The Apprentice, Donald Trump on The Apprentice back in the day, 10 years ago-ish or so. I got season 1 on DVD. This isn't as bad as the Excite Bike. This isn't as bad as the Excite Bike, but I'm not used to seeing N64 games get dirty at all. There was some kind of coating on these when they first came out that made them a lot more resistant to the kind of oxidation type stuff like this than their predecessors on the SNES and the NES. Made it that time. Maybe I should just bring the trash over here instead of trying to throw these things out. But then again, if this Excite Bike thing wasn't so dirty, maybe I should just call it Dirt Bike. Alright, Q-tip, we're on Q-tip number 3 for this. Oh, finally! Stuff's not coming off the connectors anymore, but I'll bet there's more crap on the inside. Yeah, more garbage once you rub the inside of the cartridge. And again, what do these people do to these games? Oh yeah, look at this. Ugh. Now we're getting more brown stuff. I'm gonna disassemble this sucker and clean it properly, everything individually, and do something about chaos. So congratulations, chaos. Well, this side's still fine, so let's at least rub some stuff onto this and then do one more attempt to try and make the trash from here. Actually, no, let's rub the exterior and see how much of it cleans up with 91% rubbing alcohol. Oh yeah. Ooh, look at that. I gotta bust out the paper towels with the 91% to clean this sucker off, and probably some Goo Gone too. Well, I think Goo Gone would eat away at the label, but oh yeah, even the label's it's not running or anything. Ooh, I'm spreading dirt all over the label. Ugh, oops. What's that? That doesn't look like it's ink from the label, but yeah, this is too strong for the label, but not like this game was all that great looking. Yeah, we'll have to use the generic cleaner for the label, and oops. Making a bad game even worse. But here's my question. You know, I remember seeing Donald Trump on The Apprentice back in the day, last decade actually, and I remember him mentioning something to the effect of, why would you want to sell something secondhand without taking the time to clean it up properly? Because, I mean, the price range on eBay for used games is largely based on their condition. This thing is in a lot better condition than this piece of junk is, especially now that I've put too strong of chemicals on there, and now I got streaks on the label. Whoops. I'll use generic cleaner to clean the rest of this off, and I'll get this packing tape off. Why would they put packing tape on the back of this cartridge anyways? You know, is it coming apart or something? Or, well, if it was coming apart, then I'll put more packing tape on it, but I need to get the tape off to get the screws off to clean it properly, but here's the thing. You got better games like this, right? Much, much better condition. It's actually, the labels in one piece and stuff probably will clean up quite nicely and look nice with very little effort. But you have better looking games like this. And I remember on The Apprentice years ago, Donald Trump said, why would you sell anything secondhand without taking the time to make it look nice? I mean, you basically, the time you invest will pay off when you can get a higher price for something. What kind of loser would try to sell something secondhand without cleaning it up? And that's my question too, because the lady that runs this place is running it as a proprietorship. It's her business. So, yeah, maybe she doesn't want to spend all night cleaning games, but if she could make a couple more bucks per cartridge by actually, you know, cleaning these things up and making them look really nice, I mean, wouldn't that help her out? And it's not like she has to be tied to her store or anything, but like maybe she goes home and watches Glee or something. And just have a stack of games that you're cleaning up during the commercials. Or if it's a show that's not all that interesting, you're just like doing this, just keep working on a game and make it look better that way. You know, and then they don't take stuff that's too scratched up, as if resurfacing machines don't exist. So, I mean, I really wonder about this place. It's a decent store, and I haven't seen the prices get too outrageous yet. But I have to wonder sometimes, you know... I really gotta wonder. There's ooh, loud car. There's opportunities to be had here that aren't being capitalized on. Loud car with barely any muffler. Redneck Central. Yeah. So, it's something worth thinking about. Quite honestly. I mean, yeah. Could she have gotten more money per cartridge? And you add that up to with all the games from all the generations she has in there, especially the retro ones that are getting harder to find these days. I mean, why not? It's not like she has to be tied to her store or anything. She could just, you know, like I said, when she's watching TV at home or something, just be working on a cartridge and just slowly clean them up and then put them in the store and bring up the price on them because the condition's better. I don't know. There's something that doesn't add up here. But if she won't, I will. Buy some rattier looking games and see how many ratty racers I can get that I wind up restoring back to really good looking condition, even when they were garbage when I got them. Her loss. I'm going to be doing this too with some of the retro games that I get from Lukey and JJ as well. So more on that later. I've done enough vlogging for one day and enough talking about video games for quite some time. I will definitely be on an uploading spree for who knows how long after this. Alright, till next time, this is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.